Hi guys, this is Ranjit and welcome to the FAQ video of the Nord CE. That's the OnePlus Nord CE, and I've been using this for the last 4 days with my primary and the secondary SIM. So I'll answer a bunch of questions, guys, and this is a retail unit that we had. And guys, in my unboxing video, by mistake, I said that the base variant had 64 gigabytes of storage. No, that also has 128 gigabytes of storage, but looks like the 6 gigabyte RAM variant is difficult to buy. But this regular variant that I have, that's the 8 gigabyte RAM variant with 128 gigabytes of storage, is readily available. So I'll answer a bunch of questions now because I've used this device quite a bit, and I have to say in some areas I feel it's a good phone, but in some of the areas I would say some of the questions that you have answered, I would accept that. So first question that I got is from Namish. He is saying, is the performance good enough for regular usage? Also, does it throttle its performance when subjected to stress like processor, like playing games or anything like that? I didn't do very heavy gaming. I did play Call of Duty on this one, and even at the high graphics settings and higher frame rates, it handled the Call of Duty without any issues. But I've heard that with very heavy games like Genshin Impact, etc., yes, you have to lower down the settings. I would not say this is a gaming phone because it's having a mid-range processor, that's the Snapdragon 750G. If you're really looking for a gaming-centric smartphone, something like the Snapdragon 860 that comes with the Poco X3 Pro, or even the Snapdragon 870 would be a better bet if you're a hardcore gamer. But in general performance, I would say it was fine, I would say, and I did not notice major issues. Some times I did notice a little bit of stutters. I'll talk about that later because there is a question addressed to that. So let's move to the next one. Heating, no. In regular usage, I did not face any heating issues. Even Call of Duty, those two games I played continuously for 20 minutes. It got slightly warm, but not hot. This is by Vedant. What is your opinion about removing the alert slider, as it's the key differentiator for OnePlus, and removing the feature is not a good idea, he says. Did they do the cost cutting, and if yes, how much difference did that make to the company? I don't think so it comes down to cost cutting, but I feel if you just notice, if you're following the news, what's happening, OnePlus and Oppo is sort of joining, and I think this is the result that we are getting. So this is essentially a Oppo device with Oxygen OS, I feel, because it feels like that. So that alert slider has gone. So I think so OnePlus might remove this alert slider and they might only keep it for the premier higher end smartphones. This is a sad trend because the alert slider was one thing that differentiated OnePlus devices from another. For example, I even said that I appreciated this, the OnePlus 9R, but sad to see that it's been removed. And I think so this is the new merger that we're going to see, OnePlus and Oppo. So essentially Oppo devices with Oxygen OS. This is by Prithvi. He's asking, how are the speakers? Are they adequately loud and quality? In terms of loudness, it's a single speaker. It's actually adequately loud. I don't have a problem in terms of loudness. It's actually pretty loud, but it gets very shrill, I would say, after 70% of the volume. For example, let's just play one of my videos. Yesterday I posted this video. So hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video, let's have the look at this. Let me maximize this. Crystal 4K UHD television. So this is max volume, but it's just a single speaker because see, if you just tap here, it almost completely blocks the sound. So you have to be careful while holding the phone because you can totally muffle it. And that way, I would say loudness not an issue, but after 75% volume, it gets a little bit shrill. But I missed that they omitted the stereo speakers at this price point. You can certainly give it to your parents. It's a mono speaker. Loudness not an issue. This is by Ankit. He's saying, how is the rear camera performance except the rubbish 2 megapixel? And what about proximity sensors during the call? Regarding the proximity sensors during the call, I would say they have done an excellent job. In fact, if you've seen my review of the OnePlus 9R, I'll leave the link. Here, I face the proximity issues about 10% of the time. On this one, Nord CE, strangely, the proximity sensor has been calibrated very well. Been using it for the last 4 days, took several calls, and did not have an issue with the proximity sensor. So that way it's good. And rear camera, again, it's decent, I would say, but it's not an excellent camera. If you want an excellent camera under 20,000, I would still say, what is that? Redmi Note 10 Pro or the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, I would say. But camera is not total rubbish, I would say. In fact, I would say front-facing camera is pretty decent on this one. This is by Samudra. He's asking, what is the impact of having only one 5G band? Does that mean we cannot use 5G on the phone, or the speeds will be less, or the range will be poor? There's also one more question regarding 5G, so I'll take that. Except Oxygen OS, is there any point of buying the Nord CE, as we know that it has just one single 5G band? Okay, let's go back to Samudra's question. The impact of having just one 5G band means, if you guys don't know, even for 4G, we have actually multiple bands. For example, let's say you have Airtel. In Hyderabad, they might be using 2300 megahertz band, but let's say in Delhi, they might be using 1800 megahertz band. In some other state, they might be using something else. So in India, even 4G is not just one single band that you have. On the Nord, they have just one band of 5G. So let's say your provider, whoever it is, Jio, maybe Airtel or whatever, this has what, N78 if I recall. If they are giving 5G not on the N78, let's say on the N41 or 42, then this smartphone will simply not catch that 5G signal, because it's just simply does not have that hardware antenna to catch that signal. So that is the reason I say it's false marketing when these brands are claiming it as a 5G smartphone with just one band of 5G. Yes, you are lucky if that band is available in your city, but again, we know that 5G will come with various different providers like Jio, Vodafone, Airtel, and some of them will might use different bands in different states. So having just one band of 5G seriously cripples it. It's not like your 5G speeds will slow down. If that band is not supported, you will simply not get the 5G signal. I hope that answers your question. This is by Joshi. He's asking, how is the camera performance? Because we know OnePlus doesn't have great camera. As I've told you, the rear camera is okay, but don't expect miracles or something. If you expect that, you will be disappointed. In fact, front-facing camera was pretty decent. Again, it's like a regular phone. Outdoor shots come out good. In fact, it is slightly better than my initial expectations, what I had. This is by Real Gaurab. He's saying, how's the performance and display of the OnePlus Nord CE compared to the Samsung Galaxy A52? I would say in terms of display, I don't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with the A50 Samsung Galaxy A52, nor I have a problem in terms of the AMOLED display that you're using. We also have that proper always on this one that works. Even the fingerprint scanner is fairly responsive. So in terms of display, I don't have a problem. One area I would say definitely the Galaxy A52 goes ahead by a huge margin is in terms of camera. The cameras on the A52 are simply better than the camera setup on this one, and the snaps that you will take with the A52, even in indoor and lighting, come out good. That's not the case with this one. So screen, AMOLED screen, I don't have a problem with that. This is by Harsh. He says, I'm using the Moto G5S. I'm switching to a phone. I want a stock Android experience. Another phone cannot see for me is okay, or should I go with the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE for a higher price? Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G is almost what, 40,000. If you have 42,000, I don't recall. If you have that budget, definitely you can go with that. It's in a different class, I would say. You just can't compare the Nord CE to that, I would say. But in terms of UI, I would say this is the biggest strength that I have noticed with the Nord CE, to be frank, is Oxygen OS. It's again clean, no ads, no bloatware, and it runs fine, I would say. Most of the time, no proximity sensor issue or anything that in terms of OS, I found it to be a deal breaker. I didn't find on this one. The only thing is that I don't know, at 90 Hertz, I'm noticing sometimes, this is just sometimes, 10% of the time, sometimes I notice sluggishness in terms of scrolling and moving when I'm heavily multitasking or something like that, some stutters. That was a surprise. But if you move to 60 Hertz back, it does not happen. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Janak. What's the battery life with 2 hours a day gaming and a total of 8 hours of using? I didn't do a lot of gaming. I don't do heavy gaming. But in terms of battery life, I would say it's actually pretty good. And guys, I have always been using this one with this always on. This always on starts in the morning at 8 o'clock and shuts off automatically at 11 o'clock at night. So with this one also, with always on, and I'm keeping at 90 Hertz, not at 60 Hertz, it was easily lasting for a typical working day. And as you can see with this battery stats, I was getting over around 6.5 hours of screen on time after 24 hours of using. So I would say the battery life is pretty good. Even if you're a heavy user, by the end of the day, it should easily survive. And if you're sort of a normal to a light user, about 1.5 days worth of battery life. And I also like the charging speeds on this one, not only with the supplied charger, but I tried with some third-party PD chargers also that I was having. Even with those charger, it actually charged pretty quickly. So you don't have to specifically use that wrap charger that comes in the box. That's a good thing. So battery life, I would say it's good. No issues in terms of battery life. Unlike the OnePlus 9 Pro, where I was simply not happy with the battery life. But the battery life is decent. It's not a 2-day battery life, but pretty decent. This is by Som. Is the camera performance better than the iQOO Z3 or the Nord CE? I'll have to actually test it side by side, but some samples that I took with the iQOO Z3, I feel the rear facing camera on the iQOO Z3 is slightly better. I'll try to do a comparison between these two because many of you are asking that, and I'll post camera samples side by side with each phone so that you can easily know the difference. I'll try to do that hopefully by next week. Let's see. This is by Nayan. How is the call quality? How is the responsiveness of the proximity sensor? Is it a dust magnet? And does it come with handle with care? Okay, let's stay. First, let's talk about the call quality. And here I have to say, I have to give full marks to OnePlus. The call quality, the earpiece is very good and loud. And I had no problems taking calls on this one, on both Airtel as well as Jio. And even, voice over Wi-Fi works brilliantly on this one. Coming to the proximity sensor, this is one of those rare phones recently in this price range there where I did not have any issues with the proximity sensor. So in terms of calling, I would say it did a very good job. In fact, slightly better than even the OnePlus 9R, because on the OnePlus 9R, 10% of the time I was having that proximity sensor issue. So that way, no issues for taking calls. And it's actually a pretty light phone to hold. So even when I was taking long calls, it does not fatigue your hand also because it's made up of plastic. That's another thing. Okay, it's a little dust magnet. Without the case, I have been using it without the case. You can see fingerprints on this one. No, it's not a dust magnet. It's not attracting dust, but fingerprints, at least on this color, this dark color, is visible, I would say. And does it come with implied handle with care disclaimer? I would say sadly yes, because OnePlus hasn't specified if there is any glass protection. We know there is no Gorilla Glass protection on this one. So I would say be a little bit careful. If you are a person who drops the phone, you might have to get a bumper case, I would say. Regarding scratches, I haven't put the case, as you can see, last 4 days. This is the 5th day I've been actually using it, and I do not notice any scratches till now, guys. I've been using it without the case, but I generally don't put my keys in the same pocket where I keep the phone. That's by habit, but I haven't seen any scratches yet. So it's sort of resisting, but again, if I were you, I would have put a skin on this one. You get those D-brand or whatever skins. That way, that will resist even the fingerprints and will protect this back also. This is by Abhi. How should have it been priced considering the competition of mid-range smartphones? Okay, this is a very interesting questions, and I got similar questions from quite a few of you. And I would say if Redmi or even Realme would have made this kind of smartphone where we don't have any Gorilla Glass protection, no stereo speakers, 5G is a joke, build quality is also average. I would say if Redmi or Realme would have priced it anything above 17,500 to 18,000, people would have cried. But here, I think so you are paying that sort of a premium for the OnePlus Oxygen OS, I would say. I used to always say that with Samsung mid-range smartphones, you pay a premium for the Samsung brand. Now, I think so we are paying that premium for OnePlus just because of Oxygen OS. Now, you guys need to decide if that premium is fine or not. I frankly feel if they would have priced it around 20,000, this would have been an easy recommendation. Considering some of the major flaws that it has, because almost every smartphone above 20,000 these days gives stereo speakers, some sort of protection, but Yeah, so again you have to decide. So certainly yes, you are paying that OnePlus premium now, and I think so that you are paying that simply for Oxygen OS. That way I would say the Moto G 5G, if 5G is important to you, makes more sense. Or if you don't care about the 5G, you want that pure Android experience, then the Moto G60 makes sense. Yes, it's slightly heavier, having a bigger battery, but yeah, if you want that clean experience, the Moto G60 also makes a lot of sense. This is by Puneet. Dear Ranjit was wondering if there will be a OnePlus Nord 2. If yes, then when? Yes, there will be a OnePlus Nord 2. We are hearing a lot of rumors, and I've heard that it will be very close to the Realme X7 Max that came with the Dimensity 1200 SoC. And I've heard that it might be launching sometime in July or by early August. July is the thing I'm hearing a lot of rumors, but it can be pushed to August also. So let's see. But again, that will be priced considerably higher. The Realme X3, X7 Max, what was the price of that? 27,000. So I feel the Nord 2, if it comes, might be priced about 30 to 32,000. I'm hoping. Let's see. But these days with OnePlus devices, we just can't speculate about the pricing. But yeah, the Nord 2 is gonna come. This is by Ame. Does Nord CE offer the same flawless UI experience as OnePlus offers in the premium segment? And if someone wants to buy it, then why he should go for this one? Why is it good? Okay, if you're talking about the UI experience, yes, this also has the Oxygen OS. And it's the same Oxygen OS that we find on the higher end, OnePlus devices. But in terms of fluidity, definitely the premium OnePlus devices are more fluid. On 90 Hertz, I have noticed some stutters at times. It's not like always it happens, but sometimes 10-15% of the time, I have noticed stutters in the UI with this one. It's just maybe the Snapdragon 750G at 90 Hertz is not able to handle when heavy things are happening. So you might notice some minor stutters here and there. But so in terms of flawless UI, yes, it's not as flawless as some of the higher end OnePlus devices, but again, these cost a lot more. But again, it's the same UI. It's not like this one has extra ads or annoying notifications or anything like that. I hope that helps. So you're basically paying that premium. I would say in terms of hardware, it's not stellar hardware on this one, but you're paying that sort of a premium definitely for the Oxygen OS. That's the USP of this device. This is by Shoaib. He's asking, I have purchased the Nord CE recently. I feel that the device is a little slow to respond when multiple apps are running in the background. I'm feeling it's more because I was using the ASUS 5G having the Snapdragon 845. I mean, it takes half a second to make a call after pressing the call button. As I've told you just now, yes, if you are heavily using the phone, multitasking or something, there is some stutter and there is some delay in this one. Again, but you can't compare it with ASUS 5G. It was a flagship smartphone at that time. And the Snapdragon 8 series is definitely more powerful than the Snapdragon 750. 750, I would say, is strictly a mid-range processor. That's the reason in my unboxing video, I said that it would have been a lot better and fair for users if OnePlus went with the newer Snapdragon 768 SoC instead of the 750. So yes, that minor stutters you will notice. Other users also have mentioned to me, but it's not like it happens every time. I'm noticing it at 10 or 15% of the time, especially when you're heavily using the phone. This is by Pranay. How does OnePlus not compete with Redmi Note Pro Max? Right? The Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, I would say, in build quality is better than this one. It feels much more premium to hold, and when you hold the phone, it feels a little bit more premium. And definitely also in terms of the rear facing camera, the Redmi Note 10 Pro is far better than this one. But again, the biggest problem with the Redmi Note 10 Pro, that was also a retail unit that I had purchased, was the proximity sensor was terrible on that one. And again, it's MIUI, man. It's MIUI and the amount of bugs that it has. So if you're okay with MIUI, you can live with it. And then you can definitely go with the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max because the camera is definitely better on that one. This is by Rats. How much time does it take to charge fully? Does it overheat while charging? And how's the battery life? I didn't exactly time because I was using different chargers. And the good thing is it charges pretty quickly, even with non-OnePlus specific charger like generic fast Qualcomm quick chargers or even PD chargers. So that way it's nice. Battery life, as I told you, easily lasts for a typical working day. And if you're sort of an average to not heavy user, easily about 1.5 days. So battery life is not an issue. And while charging, I did not notice any overheating issues, guys. So battery life and charging, not an issue. This is by Preetham. How does it compare with the Realme X7 Max? Because both phones are almost of the same price range. So I just want to know which will be the best phone for me, whether it's Dimensity 1200 or the Snapdragon 700. Obviously, the Snapdragon 750G just cannot compete with the Dimensity 1200. The Dimensity 1200 competes with the likes of this one, the Snapdragon 870 or something like that. So definitely in terms of raw performance, the Dimensity 1200 is better. And there are a lot of rumors that the Nord 2 that is going to come out might have the Dimensity 1200 chipset. So yeah, if you want the raw horsepower, Dimensity 1200 is simply better. Anyways, so that was the last question, guys. So these were the common questions that I was getting regarding the Nord CE 5G. So what do you guys think about this Nord CE 5G? I'll try to also post its full review with its pros and cons later on, hopefully by next week. So if you still have any other questions, do let me know in the comment section below. And guys, importantly, if you are still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.